There's only one way for the freedom for the black people interested in not continuing to be under the yoke of white domination. And this way is through the creation of 100% black Africanist sovereign communities. In Brazil, the country where I live, there's plenty of land available for this project, and it has been a couple of years. I've been talking to some brothers who I already know for some years and know they're compromised, they're committed with the cause about the logistics to achieve this urgent goal, a goal necessary for the very survival of our people, which is haunted in this white supremacist and savage country of Brazil, and also the majority by stupidity involves in race mixing, which leads to our disappearance, our extinction. One of the main barriers to achieve this goal is the practically total ignorance of the black Brazilians about themselves as being black. It's like trying to convince a wall about anything at all, trying to convince a black Brazilian that he's black. That's why I'm counting on international Africanist cooperation for this enterprise to be successful. We may have very few people in here who's really dedicated to the uplifting of our people and who can be the first inhabitants of this future Africanist society. But only us together, we can't achieve it financially. And that's why I've created this channel so our 100% Black Africanist nation can be funded through donations but also private initiative that we, the inhabitants, will put forth to acquire the income for the sustainability and development of our society. One can easily perceive the utmost urgency of this deed by looking around in Brazil and seeing black people are at a situation very similar to slavery. Our people is almost 100% of the beggars and homeless. Our people compounds the majority of the poor level of society, has absolutely no consciousness about its history, and for the final disgrace, as if everything I've told before wasn't enough, our people follows the white supremacist agenda even more than whites themselves, hunting their own people as dogs in the service of whites. Black people in Brazil owns no banks, no relevant enterprises. Brazil has never had a black president, although being considered the country with the largest number of black people outside of Africa. In Brazil, it's extremely rare to see a black physician, black doctor. Blacks in Brazil have never owned their own hospitals, never owned their own TV channels. In brief, black Brazilians have never been in a position of control and power over anything really relevant for the uplifting of our people. On the contrary, Brazil, similarly to Dominican Republic, which is also a land of house Negroes, in regard to blacks, has always been a nation of house Negroes, totally used to being under the yoke of the white master, and that's why I can count only with a very few Brazilians to build this Africanist nation, because the majority of the black Brazilians are my enemies. I repeat it, the majority, I could easily say 98% at minimum of the black Brazilians are my enemies. They are enemies of those black people who are conscious about them being blacks, about their African ancestry. And that's why I count on the contribution from brothers and sisters of Pan-Africanist consciousness abroad to save black kids and teenagers, especially, from the menacing coexistence with whites and their minions, which can only be accomplished by creating our own black Africanist nation, independent and powerful, for the global union of black Africanist nations worldwide.